Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Spectrum Drama, where we take a look at the hottest posts on Spectrum for the week and give our opinions on them. So before we get started, don't forget we are still running our giveaway for the awesome Nomad ship. So if you want to be in with a chance to win that, then all you need to do is comment on this and every video in the month of January for your chance to win. And don't forget to add that hashtag giveaway so that I know that you want to win the ship. And if you do not put hashtag giveaway, I will not count that comment as an entry. So just make sure you do it. And that's pretty much it. So let's dive straight in. Okay, so first up we've got a post from Tesseract, and it says, who are these strange loners who play multiplayers? So he's got a kind of quite a long post here, kind of explaining what he's getting, what the point is of his post, but he does have a too long didn't read section, so I'm going to read that. So basically, introverts prefer playing multiplayer because it is harder to cheat than on single player. That's not necessarily the only reason, but yeah, the presence of other players is value added, basically, and it legitimizes basically everything you do in the game. Essentially, what he's saying is that in a single player game, your actions and the interactions you have with the world don't really affect anyone but you, but you have more to think about when your actions have a knock-on effect to other people that are in a world. You know, you don't necessarily want to talk to them or interact with them, but you like the idea that the world is full of real people, basically. I think is essentially what he's getting at. And he also says if there are two extroverts chatting to one another, it has a soothing effect on the introvert because it's like listening to an interactive radio without commitment, which is quite cool. And I kind of like his thinking on this. A lot of people are often confused by my constant need to play multiplayer games. I don't necessarily have to be playing those multiplayer games with other people, although normally I am. But I do prefer them in general. Just knowing that there's that other threat in the world that is a real person. It's exciting, you know. And so I don't think it's odd when people play multiplayer like a solo player. But obviously it's gonna line you up for more problems definitely down the line when people are shooting at you for no reason.
Yeah, especially when you've got one of these massive ships and you're kind of crewing the thing on your own. That's kind of opening yourself up to a lot more grief. And I think that's kind of the point of part of the post that Matey here has gone on with, is that, I don't know, maybe he feels penalised that he wants a full NPC crew.
Yeah.
I think that's part of the gist of this post.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, CIG have already said that they're going to allow us to recruit crew for our ship that is on the blackboard for the game. No one's saying you can't do that. CIG have just kind of stated that it won't really be optimal. Their intent is that a full crew of players is going to be more effective than a full crew of NPCs. Just the way they want to go with it. I can see that point, and I don't really see a problem.
No. I mean, I do kind of. I'm definitely an advocate for single playing styles in multiplayer games because I do it myself. But there are some games where taking the complete single player introvert approach to the game is going to be detrimental, and this is one of them, because like you said, NPC crews are a thing, will be a thing, but they won't be optimal. The game is designed to not necessarily force people to play with other people, but you are generally going to have a much smoother time in this game if you have people manning stations rather than AI, and it's kind of the way it's built, and we get into that horrible argument of, you know, if a game is built with the concept being you're going to have multiple people crewing ships, and then you say, I don't want to do that, so make it work for me. then that is a problem, because that's not the way the game's designed. You know, you have to fit around the rest of the game. So if people look at you and point and laugh because you're trying to crew an entire massive Starfleet ship, you know, with like, you know, a couple of random AI people, you just have to take those digs, my friend, because that's not the way the game's designed, I suppose.
Yeah. There's no real restrictions placed on anyone. If you want to run solo, fine, run solo. Just you know, it might be better for your experience if you try and aim for a ship smaller than Idris.
Yeah.
Really, I don't. Has there been some discussions in the community about how people that want to play solo should go and play something else? I know that those kind of comments come up and every now and again in other threads. I don't take half of them to be serious. Most of them are just people being trolls because, you know, the internet. But this post kind of makes me think there's been some more direct attack against solo players. But I must admit I haven't seen anything of that nature.
No, I mean, it's not like it's been some, you know, prevalent thing over the past month or two. You know, people suddenly started, you know, bashing solo players. I think that this is one of those things where probably one or two people have mentioned it once, and he thought, wow, Spectrum then. You know, and I mean, again, that's fine. I mean, if you've got a valid point, and I think it is a valid point. I mean, it brings up things that people could talk about, which is, you know, the interesting thing about NPC crews and how is it going to work, and, you know, that kind of stuff. But I don't think that there are that many people who really care if you decide to play this on your own. All you're going to be doing is giving them an advantage over you, and I don't see a problem with that for those people, you know.
Yeah.
Cool. So next up, we've got a post from Donati, and it says, "What the hell is going on with trading, CIG?" So he says, "Trading was a shit show this whole patch over the holiday. It takes hours to mine the rocks, then we have to refine it, and for it to be worth it, it takes literally days. Now we can't sell the stuff, so he's sitting on over 300,000 product that he can't sell anywhere, and he has to just basically babysit a terminal for hours in the game to sell stuff. So generally what he's saying is it's annoying. It's essentially a waiting game now if you're a trader, rather than being able to just kind of do runs, essentially. I don't do trading. You do a little bit of trading, so I mean, you've probably got a bit more experience in this than me. But have you done any trading over the festive period?
No, not recently. I did a bit for the refining when the new refining mechanic came in. I did some for our kind of highlight video. I was trying it out. I think that's more what this post is directed at, is the whole refining, because you mine your ore, you chuck it in the refinery, and then you wait 15 hours for it to refine. Which really isn't a massive. Yeah, it sounds like a lot of time, but you just go and do something else, and then come back the next day, pick it up and sell it. It's really not a big issue. Should they maybe reduce those timers for the time being? Maybe there's an argument for that, but I don't really think it's a game breaker right now.
No, and I mean, his point here that there's kind of, you know, while you're waiting, there's really nothing else to do. I mean, that's not necessarily true. You just have to branch. If you want to keep yourself entertained, you just have to branch out from trading whilst you're doing the refining and other stuff. You know, I mean, there's not much else really you can do. I mean, you know, he's saying it's okay to wait for days for refining because you can go and mine some more stuff while you wait, which is true. You know, but you know, you could also go off and do a mission or whatever, or just answer some random, you know, needs of the verse. You know, go and pick people up who need a lift or whatever. You know, I mean, there's a lot more to do in the game than I think people give it credit. Does it all work? No. Is it a buggy mess? Probably, but there's definitely things you could do. But I do agree. I mean, maybe you're right. Maybe just reducing that timer down for now until there's more to occupy our time might not be a bad thing.
Yeah, we don't need real excessive timers, and that's recently been proved with the insurance timer. You know, we don't need to sit there for 24 hours waiting for our ship to be available again. That's just ridiculous. No. So, yeah, they could reduce these timers by 50%, and it would, it'd probably go down quite well with the community for the time being. And then they can always raise it up again when more things are online, and we're closer to not being an alpha.
Yeah.
Like you say, there's a bunch of other things that people could be doing. There's various missions or whatever. You can even go shopping for 15 hours if you really wanted to. Best thing to probably do is if you really don't want to leave the station where the refining's happening, put the refining in just before you log off for the night, and then deal with it the next day when you log back in.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, anyone who's ever played Eve online, will know that there's a lot of tasks and jobs in that you would essentially have to that would be my overnight thing or whatever, that it's not always going to be, this isn't an arcade game, so it's not going to be one of those games where you do a thing, you press a button, the thing is done, you do another thing, and then there's my end result. And it took me 10 minutes. It's never going to be that game. And if waiting for things is going to be a problem, then again, it's horrible to say it, but is this the right game for you? And I understand, obviously, there's not that much going on in the world, but you can. I mean, we've proven that you can easily pass 2 hours doing nothing. Because we do it on streams constantly, so you can pass time in this game reasonably well. And I mean, like Krako said, just do it before you go to bed, and then when you play next, you've got loads of stuff. And the part he says about not being able to sell it, I've never come across this problem again because I'm not really a trader. But is that to do with the refining, or is that to do with the fact that the economy isn't big enough to need 300,000 product at the moment?
Yeah, that's an economy problem. The problem is that people, they find out what the best mineable is. They pass that information around, so everyone's doing it. And then when they try to sell this product, the actual place they're trying to sell it to won't accept all of it.
Yeah,
they have to bounce around between different areas trying to sell.
It's realistic.
Yeah. This is going to be a bit more free form when what was it called? Spectra? No, Quanta. That was it. Once this whole economy simulation Quanta comes online, the actual supply and demand of the economy is going to kick in, and then we're going to see shifts where people have to actually see what the areas need and deliver those products as they need them, rather than just focusing on what is currently the most profitable commodity.
Yeah. And that's when it's going to start to get interesting for trading as well, because you're not like you said, you're not just going to be going, I'm getting the most bang for buck off of this particular product, because everyone knows that, and so everyone's going to be trying to sell it, and eventually that bang for buck's going to go way down because there's just too much of it floating around. You're going to have to know how trading is supposed to work in the real world, know how economies work for supply and demand and all these other things, and it's going to become, I hope, a really, really complex thing to do, and to do well. So if you want to be that guy, the trading guy that people go, wow, that guy makes a lot of money, it's because he's studied it, and if it does get to that extent, to what I call an EVE Online extent, where you could spend 25 hours reading a wiki about how to do something, I think that they've done it right, because I think that it should be complicated if you want to be really good at it, basically.
Yeah. And this is even there's a lot of factors that we still don't have in the game, like taxes and all sorts of things to do with your ship, towards maintenance and upkeep. That are all going to bite into the profit that you're. At the moment, everyone who trades in the verse it's just pure profit. There's no outgoings at all.
No,
apart from maybe fuel. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're really that bothered about it, you can just scuttle your ship and insurance claim a new one. You don't have to pay it. There's a lot to be introduced here, and if this kind of waiting time on refining is such a big issue for some traders, then I think they're going to have a big shock when a lot more of these systems come online.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so next up we've got a post from El Bandito Maton, which is awesome. I imagine him to be writing this with a scimitar or something. And this is basically the PIP bug / exploit. So there's an issue council post here, but he's basically put, I'm aware what I am in for by posting this here, but having watched some discussions in more private places take place, I figure it can't hurt to put it out here to garner some proper attention and not rely on the seemingly slower nature of the IC to have this resolved. So essentially, the problem is the PIP calculation that you see when you're in combat is done using certain, sort of algorithms and all that sort of stuff. And people have figured out an exploit for this particular PIP. If you make kind of micro moves, so micro strafes left and right, up and down, erratically and quickly, it will actually throw off the calculations for the PIP and essentially make it almost impossible to land shots on a target. And apparently they did do some improvements and adjustments to the PIP calculations to make this kind of less of an issue, but basically what our El Bandito has noticed recently is that this seems to be worse again, and he's wondering if basically a dev could respond. I haven't seen a dev respond, and he's put, thanks for reading, flame away. And I didn't read the comments because it's too hot in here as it is. I can't take any more flame.
If he wants an actual response from a dev, he probably should have posted it in the Ask a Dev section of Spectrum rather than general. But he's got a point. The PIP calculations are really bad. You can see it when the server starts to go funny and you see the PIP bouncing around all over the screen. You just sat there wondering what the hell is going on here.
Yeah.
You can see in the comments there that what's his name?
Goliath
has gone into some detailed testing there, and the conclusion was, it's a bug.
Yeah. And I mean, that's always going to be a thing. I mean, there's so many bugs in this game. Why not? If you see something that doesn't look right, see something, say something is the normal thing you hear. But this is actually see something, assume it's a bug, move on. They'll fix it, they'll add it to the list. In fact, I don't think it's a list anymore because that would be impossible to deal with now. I think what they have is a trough. They have the bug trough, and they throw all the bugs in there, and then they just kind of scoop in at random, pick one out. That's how they do their bug fixes, because they never focus on the hard ones. And I'm pretty confident that the harder bugs are heavier and sink to the bottom. That's what happens.
That's what happens.
But yeah, it's definitely a bug. And I mean, I was saying that, I don't really notice this because I'm so crap at combat anyway that even the PIP doing its job looks hard to me. So, I don't know. But I have seen it where, especially with AI, when AI become erratic, because let's face it, they're crap at the moment, it makes it sometimes impossible to figure out where their PIP's going and how to keep on target. So, it's a pain in the arse.
Yep. El Bandito is aware of this. I think most of the community is aware of this. Now, if you've ever had some serious problems trying to hit someone in the game, then you're probably aware of it, even though you're not aware of it.
Yeah. I love the fact that there's also people out there making basic scripts and macros to do these little micro strafes for the player, so they don't have to do it themselves. They just run a script that does it. And you think, is that a thing? Are people that solely sad and pathetic that they would create macros for a bug. For an alpha bug, you sado people.
Yeah, seriously,
if you're
guys,
out there,
just go and spend your time on something else. Go on,
please go away. But if you're out there, if anyone's watching who's made a macro or a script to do this, comment so that we may find you. No, that is just shocking. But yeah, it just shows some people will take advantage of anything, any little exploit they can find, because they need to. I mean, that's the only way I'd win in combat, so I just lose.
Yeah,
because I'm a good person.
You're resigned to the fact, and you come to accept this. Yeah,
that's it. It's done.
I guess the one thing to point out here is that someone has put a comment in, a little bit down, a guy called Easy One, and he's taken a screenshot of what appears to be some kind of Discord conversation with Coulson, and yeah, they kind of say, yes, it's a thing. In future patches, this won't be a thing.
Right.
So yeah, kind of go back to the original post of, if this was originally in 2.0, why did they take it out?
Yeah.
Bit of a question.
Bit weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. At least we've, there is some genuine answer out there. It's not like we have to just guess. So that's good. But it would be nice to see this kind of thing fixed, because let's face it, that's, unless you're trading, and at the moment everyone's crying about that, space combat really is kind of the only thing left to do. So let's get it right.
You'd hope they're getting it quite right pretty soon. Yeah, for Squadron 42 is going to be a thing. They really need to get combat in a good place for that.
Is it going to be a thing?
Well,
I've forgotten about it.
Well, maybe next year it might be a thing. I suppose they've got another year to iron it out.
Yeah, we'll see. Beta's coming next week, isn't it?
Isn't it already out? I thought that's what we were playing last week.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just they're like Men in Black. They come around and wipe your memories after. So it's fucking hell. Oh dear. Do you know, when I hear the word Squadron 42 now, it makes me giggle a little bit on the inside, because I didn't back this game for Squadron 42. I know a lot of people did. I kind of wanted the PU. I'm not interested in single player games, and so I've seen it and I am interested, and I will play it because it looks pretty good. But I do laugh a little now, because I know how frustrated people get with Squadron 42, and the fact that they kind of they're almost like teasing it. You know what I mean? It almost seems a bit mean. They're kind of like, oh, Squadron 42, be what? And then a year of nothing.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, that's
kind of going off topic here, but yeah, I'm with you. What gets me is that whole briefing room video series that they put. Every month we're going to have a video showcasing stuff from Squadron 42. They did one episode and then they canned it. Really? Come on.
Yeah, they'll blame the Rona, but it's not. It's literally either they genuinely have no time, which I just find hard to believe. I mean, you can find time for these things, nooks and crannies here and there. I just think that they do not want people knowing. It's as simple as that. And doing one of these videos gives us info that they don't want us to have. So they're kind of up shit's creek, really.
Yeah. Anyway. Topic.
Yeah, moving back on. So last up, we have a post from JDI or JOI. Apologies. Joy? I think. Yes, Joy. It's done when it's done. And there's a picture of a lady's face. Do we know who that is? It looks like the woman from Special Victims Unit. I can't. Like, that's a TV program. I'm not saying she should be in a Special Victims Unit, although she looks moody. But she says, I'm going to say that next time I have to go to a board meeting, I'm sure that it will go over real well. I'd love to do that. Can you imagine? Your boss is like, have you done those reports yet? It's done when it's done. You're fired.
I've had a few instances this week where I wish I could have said that to a certain client. Anyway. So basically, if anyone's not aware, over Christmas, Chris Roberts put out another letter from the chairman, basically saying we're not going to rush this. Cyberpunk made a full mess of their release, and we're not going to do that. So we will release the game when it's done. Again, I mean, he's already said this before, so it's not surprising, really.
Yeah, basically. And what makes me laugh is that if you read it, he knows exactly how to talk to kind of invoke this kind of fantastical impression of a game. Like, it's almost like he does Inception on your brain when he talks. And so when he writes anything or speaks to us in person on a video, it's like he's doing Inception, and somehow he like resets the timer, or at least removes a bit of timer of our rage timer that we have for this game. I don't know how he has this magic power, but he does. But I think it's starting to wear off, because you read the comments and people are now taking words that he says and kind of essentially putting them into what they actually mean. and it is quite hilarious. And there aren't many Chris Robert White Knights anymore. I don't know if you've noticed that. Like,
yeah.
It's different. There's a different environment in Spectrum specifically, but in the game environment itself. And Chris Roberts' superpowers seem to be wearing off, and I find that quite hilarious.
Are they wearing off, or are the White Knights forming a rebellion in the shadows?
Maybe. That's terrifying. They're just there, sharpening their fingers. I don't know, because they type. But yeah, I don't know. That's a scary thought, though. You imagine just like the White Knights rise up.
Yeah.
And,
an overthrow somehow.
Yeah, and all of a sudden Spectrum's like all roses and everyone's happy. What the fuck? Can't have that shit.
What happened?
We have a job. Can you imagine if we reported on this every week? We're like, everything's fine. La da da.
Yeah.
That won't do, my friends.
No.
We need the drama. I don't know. But yeah, I mean,
in this week's Spectrum drama, there are no reported bugs.
No, everything's fine.
Yeah.
Look at this picture of a bunny rabbit. Yeah. No, Chris Roberts, he's a lovely man. I think he does have a genuine love and an understanding of what he wants for this game. I think the problem is he is so rich and has made so much money and has realised that he can continue to just make like cubic fuck tons, and that is a big amount of money, without doing anything really, or without really doing much. He can just go, oh look, a free fly event, and here's a sale, and all of a sudden they make like 27 million or whatever, and they haven't actually done anything to push the game forward. Have you noticed that? It's mental. It's not like they've gone, oh look, we've brought out salvaging, buy a new ship. They've brought nothing out. They just keep going, have a new ship, and we go, yes please. like crackheads. What is wrong with us?
Yeah, I guess it does kind of look that way, especially when you look back over the past year. We didn't really have any kind of big release items on the patches. It was all quality of life and small fidelity increases. It can come off as you're not really doing much, they're just raking in the money. It comes back to that whole, we really hope that they push something big out this year to justify the sort of lack of big ticket items last year and the amount of funds they're getting from backers at the moment.
Yeah, it's unreal. And we do know they're working. We know that they are working on stuff and they're constantly making things better. But
before we get the comments saying they're working their asses off, blah blah blah. Yeah, we know.
We read them. We know what you guys think, and we think it too. We know they're working hard, and we don't imagine that the entire teams are just sitting back like Scrooge McDucking it into pools of money.
Only Chris does that. Right?
Yeah, only Chris does that. He dives off of his gilded yacht into a sea of money. But no, we know they're not doing that. We know they're working hard. The problem is that I think we discussed this last week or the week before, that they just need to occasionally give us something that we're waiting for to satiate this kind of rampant need for more gameplay.
Yep.
And until they do that, everyone is going to be frustrated. And hang on.
You sound like you're having an aneurysm.
I literally was, because I was reading something and I thought, well, I can read that before the end of my sentence, and then I couldn't.
It's quite a big letter and it doesn't really say much. It says we did some things, we made some improvements, and we'll release the game when it's ready. That's basically all he says.
Yeah, and fair enough. Do that. And like you said with Cyberpunk, I mean, don't get me wrong, don't get me wrong, fucking hell, Cyber? Right, one more time. Don't get me wrong, Cyberpunk is a good game. I've watched you play it, you know, you streamed it for me and stuff. It looks awesome. I don't really have any intentions of playing it. And I have seen some incredible bugs with that game. And they did say, we will not release this game until it is done, you know, until it's cooked to perfection. And they didn't do that. I think they panicked and released it. You know, and that happens. But, you know, let's face it, this game isn't going to be released for years and years and years and years. And so no one's really worried about its release date. Just give us more stuff. Okay, so there you have it, folks. That is all the posts for this week. We hope you liked them. We hope you found them informative or amusing. And if you did like them, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more Star Citizen content. And just genuinely, hitting that like button really does help the channel grow. So if you can do that, we'd be really appreciative. And don't forget to comment and add that hashtag giveaway if you want to win the awesome Nomad chip. And if you don't want to win, comment anyway. We love to hear from you guys. If we can't get the opportunity to respond, we do read them. So yeah, we love to hear from you guys. And if you haven't already, sign up to our Discord. You know, we're always trying to do stuff on there. We've got some ideas coming up for the future, which, you know, having some of you guys from the community involved in the videos would be awesome. So if we can get a big support on our Discord, it should definitely make for some fun content later down the line. But I think that's pretty much it. So thanks everyone very, very much for watching, and we'll see you again next week. Bye bye.
Bye bye.